What if I told you there may not be just one you inside your head? What if the person listening to this video and the person silently judging it are not exactly the same person? Sounds like science fiction, but this is not fiction. This comes from one of the strangest experiments in neuroscience, the split brain experiments. And by the end of this video, you might start asking a very uncomfortable question. If your brain can be split into two minds, then who exactly are you? Your brain looks like one organ, but in reality it is divided into two halves, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Two sides, two systems, two worlds. Your right brain controls the left side of your body. Your left brain controls the right side. Even your vision is divided. What you see on the left side of space is mainly processed by the right brain, and what you see on the right side is mainly processed by the left brain. So in a very real sense, each half of your brain sees a different part of reality. But normally, you never notice this, because both halves are connected by a thick bundle of nerve fibers called the corpus callosum. Think of it like a bridge, a superhighway of information. Whatever one side knows, the other side quickly finds out. So your experience feels smooth, unified, like one single you. But here's where things get disturbing. In some severe cases of epilepsy, doctors once performed a surgery where this bridge was cut. The goal was simple. If seizures were spreading from one side of the brain to the other, cutting the connection could stop the seizure from taking over the whole brain. And the strangest part? After the surgery, many patients seemed normal. They could walk, talk, laugh, eat, answer questions, live their lives. From the outside, it looked like nothing major had changed, but inside the skull, something very strange had happened. The two halves of the brain could no longer talk to each other, and slowly, the cracks started to appear. Some patients described moments where their own hands seemed to disagree with each other. One hand would button a shirt, the other hand would unbutton it. One hand would pick out clothes, the other hand would interfere. Imagine reaching for something with your right hand, and then your left hand suddenly stops you, as if it has a different opinion. Not a ghost, not possession, not drama, just your own brain, disagreeing with itself. So scientists began asking a terrifying question. What is actually happening inside a split brain? To understand this, remember one key thing. In most people, speech is controlled mainly by the left hemisphere. That means your left brain can talk, it can explain, it can answer, it can tell stories. But the right brain usually cannot speak. It understands a lot. It sees, it feels, it recognizes, it responds. But it does not have direct access to language in the same way. So if you show a word only to the left brain, the person can say what they saw. But if you show a word only to the right brain, something creepy happens. The right brain sees the word, but the speaking left brain does not. So when the person is asked, "What did you see?" they say, "Nothing." Not because nothing was seen, but because the part of the brain that can speak did not see it. Now here is the twist. If the word shown to the right brain is key, the person may say they saw nothing, but their left hand, controlled by the right brain, can reach into a pile of hidden objects and pick out a key. So the mouth says, "I saw nothing." But the hand says, "Yes, I did." That means inside one human being, one part of the brain knows something that the speaking part does not know. Now pause here, because this is not just weird. This is deeply uncomfortable. The person is not lying. The person is not pretending. The left brain genuinely does not know what the right brain saw, but the right brain knows. It saw the word, it understood the instruction, it used the hand to answer. It just could not speak. So who answered? The person, the brain, the right hemisphere, or some silent version of the self hiding in plain sight? And this is where things become even more unsettling. Scientists would ask the speaking left brain, "Why did you pick up this object?" But remember, the left brain does not actually know why. The right brain made the hand pick it. So what does the left brain do? It makes up a reason, a confident reason, a believable reason, a completely wrong reason. For example, if the right brain picked up a puzzle cube, the left brain might say, "Oh, I just wanted to try solving it." But that is not the real reason. The real reason is that the right brain was shown the instruction. The left brain is just inventing a story after the fact. And this reveals one of the most shocking things about the human mind. Your brain does not just make decisions, it also creates stories to explain why those decisions happened. And the scary part is, this does not only happen in split-brain patients. This happens in normal people too. All the time. You do something impulsively, then later explain it like it was logical. You make an emotional decision, then dress it up as rational. You feel something first, then your brain builds a story around it. I bought it because it was useful. I got angry because I was right. I avoided it because it wasn't worth my time. Maybe true, maybe not. Maybe your brain simply created a clean story. Because humans hate not knowing why they do what they do. And this is why split-brain experiments are so disturbing. They do not just tell us about rare patients, they expose something hidden in all of us. The self may not be a single king sitting on a throne, it may be more like a committee, with different parts voting, arguing, hiding information, and one part acting as the spokesperson. The left brain often becomes the narrator, the storyteller, the press secretary. It explains the decisions. But that does not always mean it made them. Now let's go deeper. In another experiment, an object could be placed in the patient's left hand without them seeing it. Since the left hand is controlled by the right brain could feel the object. It knew what it was. But when the person was asked, "What are you holding?" they might say, "Nothing." Because again, the speaking left brain had no access to that information, but if the same person was asked to point to a matching object using the left hand, they could do it. The silent brain knew. The talking brain did not. Same skull, same body, same person, two different streams of awareness. And it gets even stranger. Some split-brain patients could draw two different things at the same time using both hands. One hand drawing one object, the other hand drawing something else, as if two systems were operating in parallel. Most of us struggle to do that, because our brain normally forces everything into one coordinated experience. But when the bridge is cut, the coordination breaks, and suddenly you don't just see the brain as one machine. You see two machines, sharing one body. But here is the most haunting part. The right brain is not empty. It is not a dumb assistant. It can understand. It can recognize faces. It can respond emotionally. It can process space, images, and patterns in powerful ways. In fact, the right hemisphere plays a huge role in recognizing faces. Damage certain areas related to face recognition, and a person may see their friends and family clearly, but not know who they are by face. Imagine standing in a crowd, looking directly at someone you love, and your brain cannot recognize them. That is how specialized these systems are. The left brain may be better at language. The right brain may be better at faces, space, emotion, and visual understanding. So when the two halves are separated, it is not like one human and one useless machine. It starts to look like one speaking mind and one silent mind. And now the question becomes unavoidable. If the left brain can speak and the right brain can understand, which one is you? From the outside, we naturally assume the talking part is the real person. Because speech feels like identity. The voice says I. So we believe the voice is the self. But what if the voice is only the narrator? What if the silent part is also experiencing, also seeing, also choosing, also reacting? What if there is someone else in the house who simply cannot speak? And maybe the most disturbing thing is not that the split brain creates two minds. Maybe the disturbing thing is that it reveals they were already there. Before the surgery, the two halves were constantly communicating, sharing information, blending their differences, creating the illusion of one smooth self. But after the cut, the illusion breaks. The two systems are exposed. One speaks, one stays silent, one explains, one acts, one creates stories, one quietly knows things the other does not. And still, the body moves through the world as one person. This leads to a strange possibility. Maybe you are not one fixed thing. Maybe you are a negotiation, a live agreement between different parts of the brain, a temporary unity created moment by moment. And maybe consciousness is not a single spotlight. Maybe it is many small lights, combined so perfectly that you mistake them for one. Now think about your own life. Have you ever wanted two opposite things at the same time? One part of you wants discipline, another wants comfort. One part wants to forgive, another wants revenge. One part wants to change, another wants to stay exactly the same. We usually call this confusion, but maybe it is not confusion. Maybe it is evidence. Evidence that the mind is not one voice. It is many voices, and the loudest one becomes you. That is why these experiments feel so creepy, because they don't just show us a medical condition. They attack the deepest assumption we have, that there is one self inside the body, one driver, one decision maker, one owner of the mind. But split-brain patients show us something else. The brain can be divided, knowledge can be separated, actions can happen without verbal awareness, and the speaking mind can explain things it does not truly understand. So maybe the question is not, do you have two brains? The real question is, how many versions of you are working silently beneath the surface, while one voice takes all the credit? Because your brain is not entirely yours, at least not in the simple way you think. The you that speaks may not be the only you that exists. And the next time you say, I made this decision, pause for a second. Because somewhere inside your skull, another part of you might already know the truth. You are not one, you are two, and maybe you always were.